So recently we took a look at these LED lightsaber display stands. What better way to display your lightsaber than with a blade? But now we're gonna take a look at these. All right, let's get at it because I think you're gonna love these. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Collector's Outpost. I am John. So LEDBFG sent over a couple of updated versions of these lightsaber stands that we recently took a look at. Now, in my searching through the internet, I was looking for different ways to display my lightsaber, but I really wanted blades that were on constantly so that I just had to plug it in and boom, I've got a beautiful blade display stand. And I just kind of scoured through the internet and came across these guys, and I bought, I think, 3 or 4, I don't remember offhand, but 3 or 4 of these for myself and absolutely love them. But since then, I've actually become pretty decent friends with Chris over there, and he made a couple of new ones with updates and everything that he sent up here, and I wanted to show you. And I have a little addition of my own. I sent him a basic idea of just putting little spacers in here to be able to raise your lightsaber when some of them really just eat up a lot of the blade. When I had a couple of them lined up, you know, only this much of the blade was showing, and I'm like, that's kind of ridiculous looking. So I was like, why don't we have this like, add in some just basic blade plugs or something like that, just little spacers. And it came up with an interlocking idea, which worked beautifully. So I want to show you that. So I did a full unboxing for this one. I put a link down below so you can see everything that came with this one. This does not change color. It is a solid color. It comes here with a little dimmer so you can dim this down here. And it is super bright. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 of them lined up in my movie room. And honestly, I've got to like lower them down to like somewhere around there because they're just so bright. And while I'm watching TV at night, they're a little too bright for me to be able to watch the TV and not get distracted. So I do dim them down to about there. During the day, while everything is on, the sun's out, I do crank them up like that. They are really bright and look fantastic. So since then, Chris sent me up a couple of these new ones that he was working on. This is an RGB with a remote control. I love this one. This one's really cool. And this one's like a NeoPixel that he programs everything himself. It's not a Profi board or anything in it, but he programs the blades to kind of emulate what Profi does. And here we've got fire blades and a little flicker blade and some rainbow stuff, and you can change the colors on this one as well. Let's start over here with the RGB one. We have our power switch right in there, right on the side there. And our remote control basically can stop the animation. So if you hit the on or off button, you can stop it, power it on, and if you hit on again, it actually freezes the animation, which is actually really cool. Turn it off, turn it on, freeze animation. And all I'm doing is hitting the on button to freeze the animation. In case you just want a little bit of a gradient. So look at that. A little bit of orange at the top, green at the bottom. A little bit of purple magenta at the top and some red at the bottom there. And this does have a few different modes on here that you can kind of cycle through. All right, I just put a black acrylic behind here and you should be able to see exactly what's going on in these blades a little bit more now. So let's unfreeze that animation. And I'll just cycle through a couple of these modes here. And you can even adjust the speed with the S+, S-. Bring that down slower. And a little slower. Super slow. Or we can speed it up. So it's cool that you have a little bit of control over that. And then of course you do have your solid colors. And you can adjust your brightness up and down as well. So this RGB version here is super, super flexible. All right, let's move over to this one because this one is really cool. This is a lot like our NeoPixel blades. He's got some animations in here. So we got a really nice fire blade. Now on here, we do have 3 adjustment buttons, right? Again, we have our power switch here and we have 3 adjustment buttons. The first one here is your brightness. So it has, I think, 4 or 5 different levels of brightness. This here is our different modes. And our last button here is our color. So we can change our flame into whatever color we want, or just adjust whatever blade color we want just from that last button there. I absolutely love this flame. You guys know I like a flame blade here. So here's my Duality, and that's really, really cool. Adjust some colors. Oh, look at that. Love this effect. So for the colors, we have 7 different colors. We have blue, red, green, purple, white, yellow, and orange. And we have 9 different blade styles loaded in here. So this is our standard solid color. And then we have a really cool flicker effect. Hoping that comes through. It's very, very subtle. That way it's not too annoying because, this is a display stand. This is, supposed to go on your desk or on a shelf somewhere. And if it's just twitching and flickering too fast for too long, that might get very irritating. But this is super, super subtle, and I'm hoping that's coming through. Let me adjust a couple of different colors here. Yeah, so you could see the flicker just on my arm here. I think I would, display this on its own, and I'm probably gonna wind up using that fire blade because it looks like a tiki torch kind of. And I was thinking about even bringing this outside in the summer and setting it up in my little fire pit area with the flame. People are gonna think I'm nuts. This mode is more like an unstable blade where it just kind of twinkles and flickers throughout the whole thing. It's nothing too flashy or anything. It just has a nice little animation in it. I like that. Now back here on the plexiglass that I put here, you could really see all the details of what's happening in the blade here. All right, then I'll just flip through a few of the other ones. This is the unstable one. So the next one is fading. This just kind of pulses in and out. Color cycle. This is just fading, kind of like an infinite color on our blades. This just cycles through the 7 colors that we have here. Then the next one is fading color. So this one will just fade in and out of each of the 7 colors. Next one will be the rainbow mode. So, a lot of our blades, we have rainbow blades and everything, but this is like a smooth color spectrum. I really like this one. And then we have our flame base. So the flame here is coming out from the bottom, from the base here. Let's swap our colors so you can see a couple of those. And then the next mode, it just flips the flame coming from the blade. That I absolutely love. So you also get these black tubes. These are for Disney sabers if you have a bunch of Disney sabers. Now, this is where my idea of the spacers came in. Disney, by default, they have the exact same blade length right here. And it never changes because their blades are that universal lock-in blade. So it's always got this blade depth no matter what. Now, with our NeoPixels can change constantly. So this looks really nice. We have really nice blade lengths behind it. Now, the problem is that some of our sabers, they just eat up blade like that. So now we've got really nice blades showing here, but then we've got like 2.5 inches or so of blade showing here. And not all of these are the same. Some of them, the blade depths are a couple of inches. Some of them are, I think this one was like close to 5 inches. So you're losing all of that blade up here, which is kind of a shame. Now, this is where my idea of these spacers came in. So I brought this to his attention and he loved the idea of it. So he took the idea of making some extra slices of blade and he made them interlocking. That way you can kind of mix and match different sizes to be able to adjust how much of the blade that you want to be seen. So what we have is 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 2 inch, and 3 inch. On average, we look like this, you know, so we do have solid pieces of blade down here. This is even mine, this is the Duality. So we're all even at the top, but you can see even the Duality has the fins that come down a little bit. So it kind of looks a little like it eats up the blade, but it doesn't really because we have a lot of shine through coming through there. Now this as well has some shine through coming through the top. And you can now see though that Obi-Wan is sitting quite a bit further up, but we still have enough of blade. But now, what if we have an Obi-Wan Kenobi? We have, let's say, a Luke Skywalker. Let's put him on the green. And we have something like that that just totally eats up the blade. Now, even the Obi-Wan and Luke, we've got a huge difference in blade depth. So we're like all over the map here. So with something like this, you may want to bring your hilts up to meet somewhere around where Luke is. So let's take a 3-inch spacer for this guy to bring him up. All right, we can actually go a little bit more. Let's use a 1/2 inch. All right, that's actually pretty good. Probably could go a little more. Let's take the 1/2 inch off and use the 1 inch. All right, that's much better. And then we're gonna do the same thing with the Kenobi here, but let's use the 2 inch. Let's see what that looks like. Might be too much. Yeah, all right, let's go to the 1 inch. Beautiful. Way, way nicer looking, way more even as far as how much of the blade is getting shown. Love this spacer idea. And having these interlocking ones of different sizes that you can kind of mix and match is beautiful because again, not all of these are even. Let's go over to and take a look at a Balin Skull lightsaber, right? And a different Balin Skull lightsaber. Now you can see that even though these are completely the same characters, we have two completely different blade depths here. Let's even swap out Luke for a Disney. All right, so say you have a Disney, this actually looks pretty good right here, but let's say you want to bring this Balin up just a little bit more. Let's pop in a 1/2 inch. Okay, that looks pretty good. And now we've got to bring this one up a lot. So this is just a rough idea, but let's put the 2 inch. This might be a little too much. Oh no, actually, I think it's actually levels these guys out pretty solid. You could probably even use a 1/2 inch just on top of that. Let's see, this might be too much. Oh no, look at that, that's perfect. But it would honestly be such a shame to lose so much blade depth like these guys. So there you go. You can see how valuable these spacers really are. And there's no LEDs in these tubes, but you can see because they're translucent, it's letting a lot of light up into there. It's not going to be as bright, but yeah, look at that. Getting more than enough of light coming up into those translucent parts for anything that you may have that have open windows. All right, my friends, that is about it. I want to thank LEDBFG for sending these two to check out. These things are really awesome. These are gonna look great on display next to these. Again, these are single colors, these are NeoPixel, and these are RGB that come with a remote control. And the cool spacers to be able to lift your hilts will now be included in your package. I'll put a link to the Etsy page down in the description for you so you can check these out, and along with the link to the unboxing of the original ones that I took a look at. Let me know what you think of these things down in the comments below, and while you're down there, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and notification button for upcoming videos. I have a ton of lightsabers coming, and I have a bunch of Star Wars Hot Toys figures coming in as well. I will see you all in the next video. Be safe and kind out there in the world. See ya.